It was one of the biggest things because there's been no Pacific Islander who has had a #1 hit around the world. During that whole time, Fuemana name was turning up when it came to music in a whole lot of different places. And so for us it changed because people no longer saw us as a niche sort of small music group, but saw us as a lot bigger, and there was only 4 of us. We were changing the sound of New Zealand, or Pacific New Zealand. And when you look through that song in Ōtara Millionaires Club, it always comes back to Phil because it was his dream for music to be the thing for our family.
Paulie Fuemana lived fast and died young. He came from a remarkable family. His brother Phil was less high profile, but arguably just as influential on New Zealand music.
It's quite a very exciting day today to be able to celebrate this launch of the new album, the vinyl album, but also very emotional for my family because, you know, Phil and Paul aren't here.
How does it feel 30 years later? It's pretty surreal, really, because it is something that 30 years ago we wouldn't have thought 30 years later we'd still be talking about it. Really excited for the album, and also for my family's voice to be heard again to another generation of folk.
It's pretty emotional too, you know, because the boys aren't here to celebrate. I know that Phil will be totally stoked.
Next up, a track off the soon-to-be-released album New Urban Polynesian from South Auckland's brother-sister team.
The album came about because Phil had all these ideas, and it was a reflection of my dad passing and things that were happening in his personal life.
I was a lead singer for the Fuemana band. I just loved being part of his dream. Phil, he developed me into the singer-songwriter. You know, it was because of him, and it helped us to really express ourselves and what we wanted. He spent his life kind of raising us, and we always looked up to him.
We grew up in a time when it was quite difficult for us. We weren't that well off. We're actually quite dirt poor, and music was our outlet. It was a way of Phil being able to lead our family into something different.
We're representing our extended families. We're representing us as Pacific Polynesian, you know, artists.
Post-war New Zealand was considered to be the land of milk and honey. Pacific Islanders were encouraged to come to New Zealand to help fill the labour shortage.
The immigration crackdown in the 1970s targeted Pacific Islanders. The often violent dawn raids, which the government has now apologised for, saw police searching homes, businesses and even churches.
During the late 70s, there was a dawn raids that came through. What it did was it scared a lot of Pacific Islanders to identify as Pacific Islanders, and that's why our music was really slow to come through, because we weren't really sure of who we were. Once we realised that we earned our right to be in New Zealand and that we should be there, we were able to do our music. My emotions for it are probably the same as when it first came out. I'm super proud because it's an extension of my brother's life.
Yeah.
My brother's lives, you know, my dad, just part of who we are.
Beautiful for our kids, you know.
Yeah.
It's something that they can remember him from. How cool and how grateful we are that someone has picked it up, you know. I'm happy for him because he deserves it, you know, because he's amazing.